is Damon Flemings. I'm here to talk about Heidi Roizen for Management 6334 with Dr. Kelly McCullough. So just to begin, Heidi Roizen was a very successful venture capitalist who really was able to make strong leaders within her field, to gain networks, relationships with them by doing a solid job of putting her best foot forward within the business environment. So she was someone who started at an early age. She was surrounded by technology and entrepreneurship within her high school careers, even as a financial conservatism. She attended Stanford University as an undergraduate, majoring in creative writing. During this time, she had a fiance who was actually killed during her junior year. So she decided to make a life-changing decision at that point to never again be dependent on someone. After that, she further attended undergraduate and was the editor of a company newsletter called Tandem Computer. So while she was at Tandem, she was able to really leverage more strong relationships. According to Brian Uzi and Shannon Dunlap, they talk about how to build a strong network. Roizen was able to go above and beyond that. Roizen's first experience with networking was getting the Tandem position, actually. So getting that kicked off the ground. But first she was able to apply for the job and get the job on her own. So during this time, she was in this position where she sat in top management meetings to stay abreast with the current of what was going on. So she was already given the initiative to kind of move full-fledged into the role at this point. So from the grant book in the workplace, we learn about give and take, and this becomes complicated. So professionally, few of us are able to act like givers or takers, adopting a third style instead. We become matchers, striving to preserve an equal balance of giving and getting. Matchers typically operate on the principle of fairness. So when they help others, they protect themselves by seeking reciprocity. So if you are someone who is a matcher, you believe in tit for tat, and your relationships are governed by even exchanges of favors. Now, Heidi Roizen was someone who was both. So she had a kind of 50% of a giver, where she was able to really give to her colleagues, and in turn she was able to take some of that knowledge to really develop her own skill set. So doing her relationship working at Tandem, she was able to really make a viable connection where she ended up working for her brother's business, Teamaker. So she was CEO there until she was leveraged the relationship, with the CEO for a B school recommendation, and ended up going to the GSB in 1983. So as she was an early adopter of personal computers, she decided to work with her brother there, who was a computer programmer, to turn the software she had written into what's called Table Maker. So Roizen really wanted to operate in cash flow for the company to get flexibility to make the right decisions in business. Roizen also became president of Software Publishers Association, SPA, which was a trade group dedicated to raising awareness about specific issues relevant to the software industry. She was also passionate about those specific issues. She also helped to rally support around them. So after working for Teamaker and building a solid industry experience, she was a personal publisher. She worked to build a personal publisher, which was a great success. She swapped the company's operations, so they sold the product to Software Publishing Corporation in 1986. They also eventually sold the company in 1994 to Deluxe Corporation, where she sat on the CEO of Teamaker subsidiary, until 1996. So she was able to really gain power extremely early on. So in doing so, by her being able to gain such influential power and remaining a CEO, she went on to work for Apple, even before they were Apple, in 1996, before they were so big, I should say. So she joined Apple as the vice president of worldwide and a worldwide developer of relations, where she had a company and she had more than 12,000 employees of external software developers. So she had to continue to support the Apple platform with a sense of confidence in Apple's product and long-term viability. So people panic at this point because at this time, Apple wasn't what it was today. So they were losing market share. But with Heidi, she was so impressive that she was able to leverage network to get the CEO, software CEO, to proclaim affinity with Macintosh. And so this was the first time she used her power and influence for favors. Roizen is also a firm believer of consistency and performance, where we are far more important than frequency of interactions and maintaining a network. So because she had so much power, she was really able to build Apple successfully, which I think speaks to her tenacity as a business person, that she was able to move beyond the roadblocks because she had some substantial networks. And I always say it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you have influential people, it's good to use that power because, as we can see in Heidi Roizen's case, it definitely had a long-lasting effect. So in this, we learn kind of about the lessons of reciprocity, of giving and taking. So you got to give a little to get and receive something back. And that could be in business or with any workplace, if you work in healthcare, finance, moreover. But definitely it was a great story about how to really overcome adversities, how to build and launch your networks to move to the next level. So Heidi Roizen was definitely someone who was influential in that, and because of her experience, she was able to grow a company for upwards of $636 million. So she was a great thought-provoking leader and someone we should all admire. Thank you.